Hello everybody. So I'm on Barkley Lake today. I'm gonna pull boards for a little bit. I come down here to get skipjack at the dams, and I thought, well, I'll get 6 or 7 skipjacks and I'm gonna pull boards. And then the next, I'm just gonna pull boards for a couple hours and then go back and get skipjack some more. So how I determine when to pull boards is the current out in these lakes. If it's got a lot of current, I will anchor fish. But if it ain't got a lot of current, I'll pull boards. So all these fish are scattered out when there ain't no current. They're doing their thing, whatever fish do. And so you know, you're pulling boards, you get to cover that ground. It seems to me like all these fish in this lake right now seems to be on the drop-offs in the river channel. So I do the same thing I do when I'm anchoring. That drop-off goes like that behind the boat. I'm gonna put one pole in the drop-off, one board over here in the river side, and one board up here on the shallow side. And just follow that drop-off up through there like that. I've got my track made. I'm gonna fling some poles out, and here in a little bit, if we do pretty good, I'll show y'all how I make a track and where I make the tracks and everything. It's something I enjoy to do. Like I told you, since the last time I done this, I'm no professional at it, by no means, but I love to do it. It's a good way to find fish and catch fish when nothing else is working. Like I said, you cover ground. So basically what the deal is, them fish are laying down there and they got to make a split-second decision whether or not to eat that bait as it swims by. So there's my fresh skipjack. So pulling boards, bumping, all these drifting methods are good ways to find fish. And if we get in a batch of fish to where I can't handle boards, I'll put a spot lock on the trolling motor and we'll anchor on them a little bit, see what happens. But I think we're gonna catch quite a few here, but well, we ain't got no wind. I don't know about the size, but no wind's a good time to pull boards. A very good time. I'm gonna set my speedometer on 0.6. I usually try to keep it below a mile per hour, but I was last year I was on Carr Lake in Virginia and was catching them at up to a mile an hour. And like I said, guys, this is a good way to learn depth finders, because you'll see them fish go under the boat and you'll be like, hey, there's a fish coming up, and you'll see it hit your pole. I'm gonna run a orange board, or whatever color that is, on my left-hand pole and run an orange board on my right-hand pole so I don't get confused. I got a bad habit of getting confused on what boards to put on my line whenever I get lined out. Especially if I'm in fish and I'm turning and burning and everything like that, it don't take a lot to confuse me. So I know I got that crappie jig color on my left-hand board, and then I'll have my orange color on my right-hand board. One of these days when I get better with the camera, I'll figure out how to put a camera on them boards so y'all can see them. It takes a pretty good fish to pull them backwards. I'm gonna run that one kind of far out there. But usually you'll see them, they'll hammer that pole, and you can see them hammer the pole. I use braid whenever I'm doing this because it seems to cut through the water better. And I use regular trolling reels, which I do not like to use, and a regular float. Now then, as the water warms up and everything, I'll go to a rattle. I'll bling them on out when everything's warmed up. But I think that we're gonna have a little better luck today than what we did the last time we done it. Just because the last time I done it, I went into it blind. Well, we learned from our mistakes on the last time, and we went straight to the river channel this round. And guys, you don't have to have boards to do this. You can drag 2 poles right behind the boat, especially if you're in over 30 foot of water. If you're on fish, you catch fire out of them doing that. And I've seen them many a time where they wouldn't bite the boards and they'll bite the pole without the board on it. And I do that a lot too when Erin's with me. I'll put her 2 poles out here on her rod holders out here, and I'll run 2 boards outside the boat. And lots of times she'll out catch me with them boards. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to have boards to do this. That was a good fish. And the camera's been on 11 minutes. So we've been fishing probably 4 or 5 minutes. Bunch of shad out here flipping. Now see, if I'd have got me 6 or 7 skipjack right off the bat this morning, it took me 3 hours to get enough skipjack to do this. So we're not out here in a good part of the day. But there ain't no wind. It's a perfect time to do it. I've got about a half-mile track, maybe 3/4. And if we don't pick up nothing in that 3/4 of a mile, we'll go to another place and do the same thing. But I think we will. Gunshots at a prison's never a good thing, I don't think. Off a strip and drag. He made my trolling motor kick up a gear. I don't think he's all that big. It's a good fish. Get my arthritic hands working. I don't like to stop my drag if I don't have to. If he's a big fish, I'll stop it, but one like this, I usually don't concern myself with it too much. Drag him on in and keep on rolling. We're in them. think that fish come off. I didn't get to the drag quick enough, and it probably ripped the hook out of him. Dog, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. This ain't a bad fish. Nice lake fish. Uh-oh. My dip net was tangled up. Hey, the other one that bit that pole there was a little bit bigger than this one. But don't kid yourself, this is a good one. Not no monster. Good 10-pound blue. Good first fish of the day. Nice, pretty white fish. Long, not very fat. Send him back and let him do his thing. Get me another piece of bait on and get another. And it helps to have skipjack, some kind of perch or something like that don't come off the hook. Because, you know, that pole got a bite a while ago, and a pretty good bite. And I left it go because I knew that, pretty confident that the bait was still on there. That thing's trying to tear my back end of my boat off. He's a pull and drag every once in a while. But I wanted to get this other board hung on. And out there, because if not, I was gonna have a mess. The whole purpose of these boards is to keep everything separate and keep everything from having a mess. So everything stays straight and lined out. I'm about ready for that right hand pole to take off with a fish on it, so I got a mess regardless. This one reeled in. This one ain't near as big. Still a good fish. He was done and tired out time I started reeling on him. I'm gonna try to get him over in the boat without using the dip net so I can stay untangled. Another good 5-pound blue. Like I said, guys, this is a fun way to fish. When you're on them, you know it too. And like I said, whenever I leave here, I'll show you where to make the drags. Because we're in fish. Another 5-pound pretty blue. He's a little fatter than the other. I'm just kind of curious why that right hand pole ain't got a bite yet. Now remember, it's up on the flat. It ain't near as deep out there. Bunch of shad out here flipping. That's the reason why them catfish are here. If the wind was blowing any harder, we'd have to have a drift sock on. That right hand pole finally got a bite. Not much of one, but it did get a bite. Left hand pole's trying to get a bite. He's taking off with it. He dropped it. I can't tell if that fish come off there or not. He'll let me know here directly if it didn't. I kind of feel like it did. I use a heavier action pole for this because of the boards. And then I might lose a fish every once in a while, but right hand pole. Left hand pole. Acted like a smaller fish. Fish might be on that left hand pole. If he is, he ain't very big. See them fish is just like whenever you're anchor fishing. They come and they peck it and then they'll follow it. They're pecking it and jacking with it. I kind of feel like we've gotten out of fish a little bit. There's a few still on the bottom. Maybe we got out of them for a second and they're run back in them. Just like anything else, guys, you quit getting bites. You need to reel in and check the bait, especially if you know you're in fish. This one's got a fish on it. Sometimes you don't know it when they got a fish on them, especially if it's a littler fish. Because, you know, you use such heavy stuff. And if he don't pull on it, then you don't know. I don't have to worry about the dip net on him. That fish could weigh 80 pounds one of these days if he makes it. We might start getting bites again now. Guess I need to check that right hand pole. It had a head on it. But for some reason it ain't got a bite in a long time. And sometimes after you drag a bait a while, it loses its scent. I let it sink and hit the bottom, then attach my board. It's got a little swivel right out here on the back end. You just clip that on your line, and then you put your clip, am I hung up? Put your clip in front of that and turn her loose. Now I got a fish on. See, having fish off and bait on helps. I don't think he's no monster. But at least he's big enough to know he's there. I don't think it's a bad fish. I don't think he's very big. And a possibility is that he come off too. Nah, he's still on there. Dog, I thought we might. That first one was a good one. I thought we might get into a few good ones, and now they just keep getting smaller and smaller. But at least we know we're in fish. A feller might latch on to a good one here before too long. Again, don't have to worry about getting a dip net after him. Still fun, guys. Just because it's something different, it's something you can do different on a slow day. And the more stuff you got in your arsenal, the better off you're gonna be. Because if you come out here with an idea that you're just gonna anchor, and your anchoring ain't working, I'm gonna throw that headpiece out there. That anchor ain't working, then you can always do something different. And this is easier than bumping, but you can't really bump in a lake unless it's a rolling like I did in Pickwick the other day. But we know they're biting. So after we get through with this track, we're gonna try it. We've been here 54 minutes and we've caught 4 or 5 fish. Got another one jacking with that right hand pole. But we know they're biting, so we're gonna try kind of a different area, maybe, I don't know. I haven't never caught too many big fish in Barkley Lake. I've caught some 40 pounders out here, but it's been a long time ago. I'm sure they're in here. but it's got a bunch of fish in it for sure. I always come down here and bring a cooler because they're good eating out of this Cumberland River, and as the summer progresses, they're better eating than they are anything around the house. So if I want to mess a fish, I'll come down here and drag in the summertime and get me a mess. I'm gonna check this pole too, because something's wrong with it. Now see, that just goes to show you that they're biting the boards better today than they are the dragging pole. Maybe, or the boards are where there's fish at and the dragging pole ain't. And for all I know, that thing might not have been on the bottom. It looked like it was dragging. I wonder if that fish's still on there, ain't it? Left-hand pole's taking off now. I think we're about to double up. This is a little bit bigger of a fish here. Or maybe it's because I've caught all them small ones and don't know what a big one feels like. There's just a lot of bait moving around out here in this river channel. And that's the reason why these fish are out here right now. That, and they're pretty active today. I knew that they'd be pretty active today. Dog. I am not used to catching fish on heavy, fast stuff. Do not do that if you're wanting to save your hook, guys, with a 10-pound fish. Nice. Another nice 7, 8, 10-pound blue. This one's a little fatter. I tell you what happened is this pole over here went over that drop off on that bank. The edge of the river channel, because it did not sink very much at all. And it picked up that fish right there as it went up and over it. How much we got left on this drag? 2/10 of a mile. So we should pick up another fish, maybe 2. And then we'll make another track on upriver a little ways. See if we can get into less lake and more river and see if there's anything bigger up there. I don't know if that was a hang or a fish. It didn't act like a fish. That was a fish. I guess I'll do something about it. And they're just a hair more fun to catch without the board on there. You don't have to struggle with that board. Because I've got my clips a little tight. This one, he's in a tangled up mess. Another 3.5, 4-pound blue. Skinny as all get out for some reason. I'm gonna throw this bait back down in there just due to the fact that we ain't got very much further on our track. And we're gonna go make us another track and do it all over, and I'll show y'all what I look for when I'm making a track. And it's probably all according to how much I got left on this track too, whether I send it back or not. I shouldn't have that much longer on it. Yeah, 145 feet. We ain't gonna worry about this pole. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna start reeling everything in and get ready for the next one. I'm gonna cut some bait. I try when I'm doing this, because it can get hectic, to keep bait cut so I don't have to stop what I'm doing and cut bait. I'm gonna probably fish another hour. This one ain't got no bait on it. That sound means that she's out of track. So I'm probably gonna fish another hour, get another track in, and then go get some skipjack and get ready for something different. See if I can get some to put in the freezer. Dog, I tell you what, I might have caught a mess of fish if I'd have had bait on. If that ain't something. So we're gonna sit here and study on this map for a second. So I just made that last track right down the inside of this bend right here. I just followed the contour line. You can see my track right there. I just kind of zigzagged across that contour line and made a track. So this next go around, I'm probably gonna go up and get on that inside bend and do the same thing. I'm gonna start about right there and go around that inside bend like that, make a track. And that's how I do it. You know, them fish like them bends. And they also like them drop-offs. So where them contour lines is real narrow, it's a drop-off. And I make the track, you know, like I said, one planer board on the high side, one planer board on the river side, and my middle pole right down the middle of that drop-off. So the middle pole, I put it right in the middle of the drop-off because right there on that drop-off is more apt to get hung up. So it's a lot easier to get that middle pole unhung than what it is if you got a board on it and you got to chase down your board and everything. But I'm gonna go up, that bend's just right around here, and make that other track and see how it goes. I just leave my trolling motor on. That way, whenever I get up there, I can hit record and make my track. I think this will be another good track. Go up on the other side of where I want to end the track, hit my record button and come back down this way. That way it saves a trip up the river. And I can kind of scan for fish and see what all's down there. And I can already tell you there's quite a few fish in there. It's gonna be a hair deeper. There's some good fish in there. So it's 63 foot deep. See those? Let's make sure it ain't a limb. Oh, it is a limb. I thought that was 3 or 4 fish hanging out there. So we wanna for sure get above that limb. And see, here's that inside bend. I'm gonna go up here and make the track back. That way I can park here, get my stuff ready and go on up through there fishing. All right, I'm up above the bend now. I'm gonna flip around and follow that contour line back. I just hit record, hit save, and it's making a track now. And I just follow that contour line back through here. You can go as fast as you want to while you're doing this. And it'll follow whatever line you make. Because I followed coves and stuff. Hopefully, there's some bigger fish here. There's a lot more cover, and we're gonna be fishing pretty close to some 60 foot of water. Now it's a lot deeper here. To begin with, and I run, it's gonna be 75 here, and then I run up into 35 up there on that bend. I'm gonna run it a little bit slower because of the depth. And we got a little bit of a crosswind. So we're gonna be going sideways out across there, which it shouldn't hurt too bad. I don't like it, but as long as we remain the same, it don't matter much. We're in 70 foot now, so it's come up 13 foot. I might have should have not pushed off into that 80 foot of water. And we're running over a few fish, nothing like we was back there though. Looks like them fish almost suspended here. But we're in 59 foot of water now. So that's probably the deal. We dumped off in too deep of water. And as we get shallower, we'll probably get more bites. Left-hand pole tried to get another fish. See, it's on that ledge. It's like a night and day difference from where we just come from to this. Now, with that being said, it is quite a bit deeper here. We was in between 35 and 45 foot of water there. We're just now in 50 foot, or 57. And we got a heck of a dang crosswind right now. Dog! A fish come off. It's unfortunate, that acted like a good fish. And if I knew the wind was gonna start blowing like this, we'd have went somewhere else. Out of this direction. It was blowing from that direction. Now it's just blowing completely crossways with us. And it wasn't supposed to blow at all today. Of course, so far it ain't hurting us too bad. We're going a little faster than what we should be, but we're halfway through our track. I really wanted to go through that little dab of stumps and stuff, because we really ain't in fish like we was a while ago yet. But they get that way on up here. They get thick towards where I started the track. Hot dog. We might have latched on to a good one. Boy, he slammed it if nothing else. That's the deal. We was in that deeper water and they wasn't near the fish there. That's the bad thing about planer boards right there. Is sometimes you give them slack and them fish come off. And it can get frustrating. I ain't so doggone. I started to say I wasn't so doggone. I ain't used to fighting fish on these heavy action poles. I don't think he's no monster. For one thing, he ain't took no drag. I don't think it's a bad fish. Might be the biggest one we've caught today, I don't know yet. No, it's a good one. I would say that they're probably a little bit bigger in here than they was back there on average. Another 7-8 pound blue. Just blueing around. I would say that from here on out, if our boat would work right, we'd get a bigger one. It's just like anything else, any other type of fishing. If you ain't where there's big fish at, you ain't gonna catch them. There's probably less fish here, but they're probably a hair bigger. I could be wrong. Next one we catch I can tell by the bites that we've had, except one, has all been pretty good fish. I think if we get a non-windy day before too long, I'm gonna try Kentucky Lake. And I had a traumatic experience on Kentucky Lake when I was a kid. Which one's got a fish on it? Oh, the one on the right. See, we're up in 36 foot of water now, so that's the deal. We was in too deep of water when we first started this drag. And I mean, it's doubled on the fish amount out there. A dog, he took off with it. And why didn't he get hooked? That was a good fish. He might be on there. He might not be no bigger than that last one I caught. He might have come off. I don't think he did. They're slamming it when they slam it. I finally caught back up to him. He ain't as big as I initially thought. Center pole's going down now, of course. Left-hand pole's doing something. Oh God, by the way this thing hit that, I'd have swore that fish was quite a bit bigger. Another 3 or 4 5-pound blue. Back down there blueing around. I lost my weight off of this one at some point. That's strange. Guess I just as well catch this fish while I'm trying to untangle that. He come off while I was jacking around. I think I finally got the drag set right on this pole. He come off. Boy, you can tell when you get in them. I'm just gonna set this one back out and run that other until this drags over, and then I gotta go get bait. There's quite a few more fish here than there was in that other place once we got into them. Because we ain't got very much further to our drags over. There ain't no use in throwing another pole out for 5 minutes of fishing. But see, we're in 29 foot of water now. So all them fish was hanging on that drop off right there. If I knew that fish come off, I would I'll just leave it drag anyway. and he'll let me know if he's on there. Because I don't want to pull it in and got 500 more foot. So what they is, there's a stump field in 27 foot of water here that I ran over when I first started making my drag, and them fish are in that stump field. Or when I first hit the what I should have done, instead of going out into that deep water, I should have stayed on this drop off right here, and I'd have been catching them like that all the way down through there. But I got worried about staying tangled up all the time in them stumps, so I got away from them. And I was like, well, here at the end, I'll deal with it. And I think we're out of fish now. Of course, I could be wrong. See, I think we've gotten out of fish now. We're way shallow. That was a lot of fun for a couple hours fishing. I don't even know how many we caught. Probably 7 or 8, I don't know. Nothing big, but it's still a lot of fun. If I'd have been throwing them in the bucket, it'd have been a heck of a mess of fish. Until the next time, I will see y'all later.